everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are starting Deluxe Volume 10, if you can believe it, Volume 28 of Berserk. And I have comments, I have thoughts, I'm really excited to get into this volume. I'm really excited to see the comments that come out of Volume 26 and 27, because I've really enjoyed those volumes. I think Miura, I'm glad that it feels like the clouds are lifting a little bit. We're getting back into the Berserk that I really enjoy, which is the high fantasy, the fights, the character development, the the mysticism, the lore, the world building, that all stuff I enjoy, right? But this is a tale of suffering. This is a tale of woe, suffering, and the temptations of good and evil, mainly of evil, but yeah. So it's a pretty heavy story overall, but y'all knew this when we started. I honestly don't think, looking back at Volume 1 and back at the 1997 anime, I don't think I realized how dark this series was going to get. I think when you all said, Romania, this is a really dark series, I was like, I've got this. This is by and far and large the darkest thing I've ever read. And at times it's very cruel, and it's just like, it almost feels like misery, where you're just like, is this ever going to get better, or are you just going to keep piling on the woe and dread? But it has been worth it in the aspects of meeting characters like Shirk, Skull Knight. I feel for Guts. I want to root for Guts so badly, but it's one of those things where you almost don't want to call Guts out because you're afraid that people are going to notice and pile more angst onto him. And I'm like, I don't know if I can handle him going through any more. And so I want to talk about this chapter, kind of leading up to the chapters that we're at, kind of where we're at, and some comments before we dive any further. So I really liked Otter Stew's comment about the found family of strugglers. I'm a sucker for a found family motif. We got that originally with the Band of the Hawk, and now we're seeing this again with we can't call it Band of the Hawk 2.0 because that's Griffith's deal. But we have this group of, we call them the Struggler Crew, the Happy Hungry Bunch. The Strugglers 2.0, where we have our group. But I love that they're kind of this found family. There are some that are literally family, like Farnace and Serpico, but then they're just a group of kind of outsiders and people struggling with their own traumas that have all kind of come together and banded together in the pursuit of just trying to move forward and do something in this world, trying to struggle through this cruel world and make it out onto the other side and have something to look forward to. And we want to root for them, right? I really liked their note that the Skull Knight's energy, when they pointed out that Puck had noticed back volumes and volumes ago that the Skull Knight's energy reminded them more of an elf than a demon. And I don't think that the Skull Knight is an elf necessarily. It would be hilarious if underneath all this armor and everything, there's just a little, if it's not King Berserk and it's literally just a little elf flitting around inside this giant massive suit of armor, would find that hilarious by and large. But I don't think that's the case, because there's too much comparison to Guts and Berserk and all of this stuff that's kind of foreshadowing. I don't think that Skull Knight is an elf. What I think it means is the idea that rather than be the creatures from the astral world, like the God Hand, that are kind of connected to Qlipoth and the most darkest depths of that world, Skull Knight has kind of become more like the elves and part of the wind spirits and part of the astral world that's not so tied to the darkness. So I kind of like that he's embodying the astral world in a different way than the God Hand, which would make sense why he's a foe of the God Hand. That all ties together, so I like that a lot. There's a lot of comments for volumes 25 and 26, and I want to say first and foremost, I was not trying to target any of my male audience. I was genuinely asking for perspectives in the comments. And I've had a lot of people come out and say that, there are a lot of male reactors that are disgusted with Griffith and his actions and the contents. And I'm like, well, good. Great. When I'm done with this series, I would love to go, I want to do a giant video at the end of this when I'm caught up with Miura's work and caught up with the manga and where it's at, about my experience as a whole and about Miura's writing as far as kind of like where it's at when we get caught up. And kind of just do a big evaluation of that. And I want to look at other reactors and see what they have to say and things like that, and kind of do a comparison to see what aspects did they focus on and what about it is different than what I'm calling out? And does anybody else challenge Miura? Or are they all just kind of like, yes, people being like, Miura's amazing. Like, he's not bad at all. He did nothing wrong. I don't know. I've talked so much extent of it. I feel like I'm flogging Mr. Waffles if I say more, but I don't want to call out any guys. I just genuinely want to know, because it's one of those things where I am coming at it from a reader that has been personally experiencing the things that are happening in this manga. Like, the things that have happened to some of these female characters. Gotta get coffee, because I'm like, nope. My dog's burping. Some of the things that have happened to those characters have happened to me. So, it is... I'm gonna cut that. So it is personal to me. And I wonder... I know that some of the readers, like Moomin, for example, who I'll talk about their comment in a second, Moomin and some other people have commented saying that they either have experienced or know people that have experienced the same things from this manga, and I think that that's so powerful. But it does, you know, first off, I think that if you're gonna, you know, I don't expect anybody to agree or disagree with what I have to say. I'm just here giving you my thoughts. Y'all want me to read this series, so I'm just letting you know what I see when I see it. And so for me, one thing that I have to work on as a reactor for the rest of this series that I try to do is separate myself from the content. And after volume 23, I did try to do that. Be like, okay, let's separate myself emotionally from the content. But when that happens, and you do emotionally separate yourself from it, being like, I'm not going to do like what I'm doing now, then your natural reaction is, well, if you're not going to be sad about it, you're probably going to get mad about it. I like walked into this being like, girl, you ain't going to cry because you've been doing that for like 2 volumes already. You need to stop that. So my thing was, after volume 23, I was like, okay, I need to separate myself from the content, because if I don't get sad about it, then you just have to. You have to separate yourself from the content, because otherwise it's going to drive you insane. You have to separate yourself from the content. And that's what I've been trying to do, because otherwise every time I see that on the page, you know, it's one of those things that every time you see it on the page, I feel tongue-tied. It's like the words are right there and they don't want to come up. So give me a second. Oh, bless. I sat down today being like, you're not gonna get sad. So yeah, it's like, when you see it on the page, you obviously have a response to it. So my thing has been, well, I will try to separate myself. Oh, I'm gonna get lipstick all over that. I was like, I'm gonna separate myself from the experience. But the thing about that is, if you're not sad, you still will probably have an emotional reaction. And for me, my reaction was, well, if I'm not sad about it, then I'm going to be upset. Or that I'm going to be mad. And so I do fully acknowledge that a lot of my responses as I read are just me being emotional reading the content. But when you connect to it, that tends to happen. So I've like restarted this video like 3 times. And this was the 3rd time, and I was like, I'm just going to work through it. I don't care what happens, I'm going to work through it. But, and I hate that I'm crying. I really do. Trying not to. But it's just one of those things where I'm reading a story, and when Miura constantly draws attention to something that you have personally experienced, then your natural reaction sometimes is to either recoil and run away from it or to fight it. So yeah, we might as well get with the comments before I go any further than that, because otherwise I'm just going to sit here for 20 minutes. Even though I've already tried this twice today and it's failed both times, but okay. But yeah, I guess this kind of, I'll talk about Moomin's comment in a minute, but just kind of going back through it, the idea that I didn't really mean to, if anybody reading, was offended by what I said. That was not my intention. It's just, as I read, you encounter things that you can relate to, so naturally I want to call them out. I had someone, they did comment, they were like, well, but you only comment about the SA or about women and sexual violence and things like that, but you don't talk about like the men getting killed, and I was like, well, there are no men getting sexually assaulted except for Guts twice, so we can't go with that. So there's none of that to call out. I don't want to call out any SA to begin with. I wish Miura didn't have it in the story. I don't think he needs it, except for the one instance with Casca, and maybe you could argue for one or two more times. The other 50 that we've seen were not necessary. I do think the troll scene was necessary. You could have done it differently, but I do think that you needed to get the implication across. The Casca moment is the only, I think Casca's incident and Guts's are the only that are justified, that are needed for the plot to make sense. The others, you can talk about the evils of the world without involving an act that your audience can't even relate to, because it's not happening to a character that they can relate to, because your primary target audience are men. So that was kind of my thing, because I had John Smoke had the comment about SA and everything, and I'm really glad that John Smoke was really understanding and kind in his response, which was really amazing, because I did feel bad about calling you out, so sorry about that. But I responded back to them being like, I get Miura's style, but I think you can be dark without showing the female body the way he does sometimes during those acts, like full spread nude bodies, like all this. Like, I do feel like some of it is a little bit sexualized in a way that it doesn't have to be. And I know a lot of readers may not even think that it's sexualized, and I hope you don't. That's amazing if you don't. Great. But being a reader that has been through that act, I don't have to see it to get the knowledge that it's bad. So that's that. And basically I said, there are workarounds, and I just expressed how I wish he would do those in a way where SA doesn't have to, it doesn't contribute. And sometimes when you overdo something, it starts to make the theme not mean as much, and a lot of people argue, they're like, well, SA is really bad and everything. And I'm like, then you shouldn't want to see it. You shouldn't want to see it. And when your reasoning is, well, SA is really disgusting and horrible, and I'm like, so Miura shouldn't show it as much. And you're like, oh, well, I'm not saying that. I'm like, well, then you've negated the whole argument. If you don't want to see it, then he shouldn't show it as much. That, you don't have to see something terrible multiple times to know that it's terrible. You should be able to see, again, I'll use Guts as the example. He was assaulted as a kid once, and that's all you needed. Casca should have just been assaulted by Femto once. Maybe you could make the argument, for the sake of the artistry that we saw, the tapestry that Miura paints with the other demons, you can argue that, sure. But any other aspect with her or any other female character, you didn't need after that, because we've seen the horrors of it that one time. It should be grisly enough to where oh yeah, that's bad. Nope, we're good. And I'm not saying anybody doesn't think that the assault is bad, but the fact that people are like, oh my God, yeah, that's horrible. But then you're like, but he's fine. Miura's great for having it in there. I'm like, what? And honestly, the whole thing with the violence, I've talked about it in previous discussions. They're like, well, you're not calling out all the men getting killed and all this. And I'm like, yeah, but the dead tell no tales. It's, I'm not reading from the perspective of a dead person. I'm sure a corpse up here talking would be like, yeah, there's a lot of death and that's bad. But then we wouldn't have a story at all. There are things that Miura has to have in the story for it all to work. But then there are things he overdoes. And there's just a lot of people making excuses for things that rather than admit that Miura did something wrong, they would rather say that I shouldn't talk about it. And I'm like, okay. But I was just trying to get across that, that was just my views about it. And I put in my comment, I struggle sometimes with Miura because they're a man writing a series for a male targeted audience, but they're choosing to have women assaulted. I don't want assault at all. It's like, I honestly don't want any SA at all, regardless of gender. Right. And I said that in my discussions. I guess I feel, to me, I just feel like, and I tried to word this, and I'm just trying to make this as sound as what I'm trying to say. if there had been more men assaulted in this story, then I feel more viewers would have spoken up about it and would have asked for Miura not to depict it, or would have complained about it being too much in the story. That's what I'm saying. But it feels to me that people, they just let the overuse of the sexual violence slide without complaint or criticism of Miura because, well, it's not me, so I don't care. So that's just the vibe from some of the comments that I've gotten. Not all of them. Some people have spoken out, which is really great, and I appreciate those voices. They have helped me keep reading the story, for sure. So keep speaking out. But to be clear, I am happy that we're getting less and less of the essay in the story. I'm sad that it took us 26 volumes to get here, but I am glad that we're getting less of it. And it's not needed as a plot point at this point. I think that's why volume 25 was so frustrating to me, because I'm like, we've already been through this song and dance how many times? Why do we need to keep doing it? Like, it wasn't necessary. And that's like last volume with the Kushan, like, did we, I mean, I'm sure somebody's going to say, well, we had to show how the army was created. And I'm like, but if you look at Lord of the Rings, for example, J.R.R. Tolkien didn't show the orcs grabbing women and taking them to the caves and raping them to have baby orcs. No, they made the orcs out of the mud of the earth and the land in itself. Why? Because it's a fantasy story and it's fiction and you can do whatever the fuck you want as a writer. That's what I'm getting at. You could show the creatures being created from anything. I thought last volume that the women were being sacrificed to let the Behelits create these apostles, and this was just an army of apostles. That's what I thought was happening. I would have preferred that, honestly. You still would have gotten the same outcome, but you wouldn't have had to watch a bunch of women be, like, raped and birth monsters. Like, it just doesn't... It's not something that I find to be, it just feels like just grotesqueness for grotesqueness sake rather than something that is needed by the plot. You know, again, Tolkien, make orcs out of mud. You can make these monsters out of mud. It gets the same point across. They're still killer monsters, but you don't maybe alienate part of your audience in a way that Miura does here. And I know it's shock value. I know Miura's doing it to shock the audience. And it's just like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And what's the darkest route we can go? But good writing isn't, dark does not mean good, right? So you don't have to be dark and gritty to be a good writer. And so that's just all I'm saying by it. And so it is hard for me sometimes because a lot of people were saying, well, are you going to focus on other parts of the story? And I'm trying to really hard. It just... I have to separate myself from the content or it will drive me crazy. And that's just me. And if you're somebody who's ever been assaulted, you may understand what that's like and where I'm coming from. And if not, then there you go. But I was so much more cohesive in planning this out than I am now, and I'm frustrated by it. So in any case, let's talk about Casca for a hot second, because I want to let Casca go. I really do. I want to not talk about her, but then people keep bringing her up in the comments, and I'm like, ah! So, Moomin talks about Casca's trauma possibly being an ethereal wound. I mean, yeah, that would explain things. Nobody else has come out and said that, and I don't know if it's because it's a spoiler or what, but my thing is, if it's an ethereal wound, like down to her soul, then why isn't Shirk and Flora saying anything about it? Because you would think Shirka and Flora would have something to say about that, or they've explained everything else to the plot to us, so you would think that they would. But my thing is with it, I did like Moomin's comment about gazing in the darkness being a line from Nietzsche, basically interpreting that when you fight evil, you have to be afraid of not becoming it yourself. I finished a series called Monster, and there's a big plot point in it where one of the main characters is going down this dark and darker route, but there's like that threat of getting consumed by the darkness and not being able to escape it. And so yeah, I mean, that's a pretty overarching theme in a lot of stories that involve characters going to dark places and trying not to become the monsters themselves. But my thing with all of it is, and this also goes to Mir Almond's comment of being like, they were talking about Casca being in a mental health crisis, and I'm like, I don't see it. My thing is, we just don't get her perspective, right? She's, unless she's looking fondly at Farnace or being mad at Guts, which, she has reasons to be fond of Farnace. Farnace's taking care of her. She has reasons to be mad with Guts because of what he did to her. And she's just showing these surface level emotions. But Miura takes so much time to show us the perspective of Shirk, to show us the perspective of Flora, to show us the perspective of Farnace, to show us the perspective of Luca, of Nina. We get to see things from their point of view. We don't get that at all with Casca. We never get, I just need a page per volume, just one page per volume. Start a chapter off with things from Casca's perspective. Show us what she's thinking of. Show us where her mind is at. Because right now it just seems like her mind is nowhere. Like it's just a blank slate. And I don't think if she's not even thinking of anything, then she's not conveying emotion. So we don't get any perspective or growth with her. She's just this floating potato that we're carrying from place to place. And there's no growth to that. And it's frustrating. So I want, why don't we get her perspective? Why can't she work through her struggle like Guts does? Why, if we see Guts struggle so much, and we've seen Guts be tortured by what he's done. He thinks he's terrible. He thinks he's worthless. He thinks that he'll never recover his Miura, I feel like, is missing on such a big opportunity because he could be showing, while Guts is struggling over here because he's lamenting that he can't communicate with Casca, we could be showing Casca being like she's trying to communicate with Guts and it's not working. And we could see these two characters who are supposed to be in love with one another struggle simultaneously. And you don't have to make it equal. I mean, I know Guts is the focal point of the story, but you could at least give us something on Casca. A page per volume, a page per deluxe volume. I'll take it. But we haven't gotten anything, right? Nothing to show that she's struggling. I mean, she's supposed to be on equal footing with him, and that's just kind of fallen to the wayside. And I know there are people in the real world, like I said last volume, that are dependent, but this is a fictional story. It doesn't have to follow reality. And I feel like Miura is making this choice to not have her actively engaged, and it's just one that I disagree with, right? And I'm not asking anybody to agree with me. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I just want her perspective, and I want her to have character growth. And I wanted, I feel like a good writer will make that subtle build for you, the audience. And my fear is that we're going to get to this point where she's magically going to be she'll burst forth like a phoenix and magically be good. And then I'm supposed to feel like, oh my God, I went for 10 years of reading without you having any character development. And now you've had all the character development. Oh my God. And I'll probably be really excited, but there's going to be a part of me that's going to be bitter, being like, Miura, you could have built this up. You could have gave us something along the way instead of just suddenly being like, yep, the cake's done. Here you go. Here's the whole thing. And I'll be like, you couldn't let us lick the spoon while we're reading. So everybody keeps saying, oh, there's going to be a payoff. And I'm like, ugh. And I want that payoff to be good, but I also don't want it to just be like an ass pull out of nowhere. I want it to have some development, and we are getting development with Guts, right? I have to separate myself from my own triggers to evaluate Guts more often. I feel like I've let Guts kind of go to the wayside, so I apologize for that. I've wanted to talk more about Guts, so I will probably try to talk about more him this volume when I've dried my tears and my inner angst. But yeah, with Casca's character, somebody was like, well, how could you care less about her? And I'm like, well, what is she doing? What is she doing to make me care about her is my thing. Farnace is making me care about her. Farnace is working and putting in the work and making me care about her. Serpico's kind of like, he's always been a good character, and I'm not saying he's a Gary Stu because he's fought his ass off and worked for it, but he's not really had any, he lost his mom. He went through that, but his troubles are like first world problems compared to Guts and everybody else. Let's be real. And then Isidro's fun. He's a kid, right? And Shirk's a kid. And Farnace has had development, and she's made me root for her. But I want Casca to make me root for her, and instead she's just like she's a behelit of her own, just floating down the way, and things, she's been protected by her baby, she's protected by Guts. There's times where I feel stakes for her, especially if Griffith is involved. I feel there are stakes, but other times I'm just like, well, she'll be fine. She's just there. I just want to care more about Casca, damn it. I want Miura to make me care more about her. And that's where I'm at with her character, because she's one of my favorites. So how could I not feel that way? But anyway, there's just no commentary on her right now, which is frustrating for me as a person reading the story. So in any case, Invox points out that Miura highlights, this part got me a little bit too. They were like, Miura highlights the patriarchal structure in Berserk. Men face abuse of their own doing, while women just get abused by men. I was like, yep. That is in fact what's happening. I guess my commentary to that would be that I feel like Miura makes this, he highlights the patriarchal structure in this series, but I don't know what he does with it. It's just there. It's just there. And I'm like, okay. And I want him to kind of, I don't know. I don't feel like he has to do anything with it, but then it's kind of like, it's one of those things where, well, if you introduce it, you should do something with it. So if you introduce this as, look at all these patriarchal things, then there should be some challenging of that structure or some commentary on it. And Miura just kind of acknowledges it and says, it's here. And doesn't do anything with it. Because it's like, yeah, he kind of reinforces the structure that's already there. He doesn't challenge it or try to reinvent the wheel. He just kind of shows it's there and he's kind of complacent with it. He's like, yeah, this is the structure and how it's always been. IDK, and then just goes from there. And I guess when I started out this series and met Casca, I was like, oh, he's going to do some really cool, like, kind of, progressive modern take on a medieval world. Not really. I mean, Shirk is the most progressive character as far as her being, like, a female that's smart and has power in this medieval fantasy patriarchal structure. She kind of is an outsider, though. She's kind of an outlier. So I don't know. I'm speaking from only read 27 volumes. We still have a long way to go. As I've said many times before in these discussions, my views will likely evolve if Miura's writing evolves with them. So yeah, we'll see. But we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I want the women to stop getting abused by men. I would rather focus on a woman like dealing with her own person. That's kind of why I want Casca to have some internal monologue, because I think it's far more interesting to me to watch a character struggle with their own demons and work their way out of it than to escape an abusive boyfriend. I feel like that would be infinitely more engaging. And so I want Casca to get more like development with that, but it's just not happening. Instead, we've gotten it with Farnesay, which is fine. I like Farnesay's character. And we're getting it with Guts, which he's the main character. We should be getting it, right? So there's that. And the synthetic vocalist did correct me and say that the Skull Knight Tong did break off because he threw it at Slan in the cave. And I was like, okay, good. I went back and looked at that part, and yes, you are correct. He did throw it at Slan. And to be fair, the only male-coded thing I have noted in this series has been Slan, because of that ass panel of her, like, wanting Guts, the double entendre of him sticking his sword in her, which is a double entendre of him penetrating her sexually, so that's my only thing. And I just want Slan to be more badass. Somebody in the comments, they were like, well, she was trying to tempt Guts to be evil. Her demonic flirting was just to tempt him to the dark side. I'm like, well, no shit, Sherlock. I'm like, thank you for telling me that. I couldn't have figured that out otherwise. I was like, no joke. I just wanted her to be more badass. And to me, badass is not trying to coerce a man with plaguing him with... I just don't like the horny female villain. I think it's a tried and cliche trope. I would rather a female villain be smart and calculating and non-sexual, because not every female character has sex on the brain or has to be a sexual object. They just don't have to be, right? They just don't have to be. So that's why I like Flora and Shirk. They're not sexualized in any way. They're just smart, intelligent, dynamic characters, and that's all they have to be. But Farnesay has been, Casca has been. Slan is, so it's just like, I like a character regardless of their gender to just be a character with layers and not have to rely on some like sexualized part of their body to be their character trope, but I probably did not make any sense during any of that, but I was so looking forward to this introduction because I was like, I'm gonna have everything all mapped out. I've got it all slated to go, and then it all just fell apart. But you all, please forgive me. It's been I feel like Guts every time I open up this book. I feel like Guts struggling through with the rest of you. And my thing too is like Guts, he vocalizes his problems with the world around him. He vocalized his problems about the whole idol worship and about religion and everything else. Why can't I vocalize my issues with it as well? I think Guts is setting a standard for us all, right? Going back here, we kind of have where everybody's at. Guts and Co. are going to Elfhelm. They have nothing to do with Griffith and Co. They've gotten away from them. I'm sure they're all going to get mingled up and involved somehow, but right now they have nothing to do with them. They're just trying to get to Elfhelm. Griffith and Co., him and Zod have picked up Charlotte, I assume because he wants to be king of Midland, and you need the princess to become king, so here we are. I'm terrified to know the prospect of what he's going to do to her, because I'm like, he's supposed to be evil incarnate in the Antichrist, if you recall, so I don't like where that's headed. I hope he's not going to Elfhelm too. It's like, I don't want them to show up at Elfhelm. I'm like, nope, please don't. Let us have this one thing. And then the Kushan, they're basically trying to fight fire with fire. They're trying to battle Griffith and his apostles by using the same methods they are. So it's just a shit show, basically. Kind of like this introduction. I'm sorry. I'm going to try my best to focus more on talking about things that don't involve SA and don't involve, since none of y'all want to talk about feminism, fine. Danging a plum around a sausage fest. You know how it goes. But I only call it out because Miura puts it there. So hopefully as we go into a decline of nonsense, I will be able to talk about other things and not feel obliged to call it out. So I've wasted half an hour. So we're just going to jump right into this. Let's start volume 28 and see what we get. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. I know there are posters at the beginning, but I'm going to wait till the end of the volume to look at those. I'm glad we're getting all these posters. All right. So volume 28. Well, that is a very unsuspecting volume cover. Looks rather tame. Looks like a castle. That one guy in the corner there kind of looks like Joachim. It looks a little bit like him. Like he's headed there. He's got a suspicious hat on and a Demon Slayer box with Nezumi in it. Oh man! Oh, we get more. We get our character guides. I like that we have these character guides now. Are these any different than they were before? Are these descriptions any different than they were beforehand with Shirk? I think that everything is the same as it was before. Yep, everything looks about the same except Griffith looks like he's even more bird-like. Interesting. Okay. Huh. Okay. Oh. Let's go back, Shirk. The ocean's creepy at night. I say, hey. Are you out for a stroll? Oh. I do love the ocean at night. Proclaimed omens. It's definitely hard to catch any sleep in this moonlight. I love Shirk and Guts' dynamic. I love it so much. Guts, you cannot sleep either? Pretty much. Why must you wear your sword? It will overtax you. It's habit. I can't relax without it. Your wounds might hurt, but even a forced rest would help. Put yourself in my shoes. Hey, Valera. I don't care much for the night sea. Hey, are you listening? When you stare at it, it gets to feeling like you'll be sucked to the bottom of those pitch black swells. I've never seen the sea before. My mistress spoke of it. She said it leads to the astral world. Beautiful, graceful, ominous, and dreadful. A spectacle that touches everyone's heartstrings in such a way. Such a place must be connected to the astral world, she said. Oh, I love that. All I did at the time was imagine it. But standing at the seaside like this, I understand what she meant for the first time. I'm now in a place I don't recognize. Though it's been several days since then, I feel like I've come a very long way. Also, can we talk real quick about the shell that Flora gives Shirk? Again, Isayama, I see you. I see you at this ocean side. I see you as this shell representing the beautiful, graceful, ominous, and dreadful, but all of the heartstrings touched by the same thing. I know exactly what you're doing. Oh my God. In some way, too, Armin kind of reminds me of Shirk. A little bit. A little bit. A wee bit. I really like this idea that Guts talks about how it's a force of habit, that he doesn't feel comfortable. He's never felt comfortable without the sword by his side because of all the things that have happened to him leading up to this volume. But he's like, I couldn't possibly sleep without it. He's like, too much has happened where I needed it that I can go without it. That's just not possible. But I love Shirk giving this. She's so like well-spoken and just has this like, just like the ocean, this wealth and depth of information. And I love the way she describes the ocean. It's beautiful and graceful, but ominous and dreadful. Like there's a surface to it and then all the stuff beneath the ocean that we can't fathom, that we can't understand. And the idea of connecting that to the astral world, which is this other plane of existence, is really, really cool. I like that a lot. I've set out upon a journey without return. So her and Guts are very similar. They're both very similar. You're trying too hard, you know. Oh, he's almost like a dad or a big brother to her, which is cute. You only distract yourself like that. So cleverly set in your own ways, worrying about everyone but yourself. Oh, I would never. If you keep that up now as a kid, you'll be old before your time. And Valera, I bet you'd know all about that. Yeah, because Guts is the same way. Like, he's supposed to be, what, in his 20s? And he's got this big white patch on his head and looks like he's been through hell and looks about 10 years older than he actually is. Yeah, exactly. Well, you needn't worry. When, through death, we magic users part with a loved one, it carries a different meaning than for you of the physical world. To us, who live in both worlds, death is not an end, but an emergence into a new great existence. It is never. She's going to cry, yeah, because Flora's dead. She hasn't been able to process her grief. Shirk. It's never a cause for sadness. Oh, and that wave crashing when she starts to cry. Ugh. Yeah, that sound effect over her crying. And Valera grabbing her hat. It's sad because, you know, Guts understands her sadness and wants to cry too, but he doesn't. Ugh. I feel relieved in a way. Good. My eyes and nose, they sting from the sea breeze. To be honest, so do I, all over. You are pushing yourself. Oh. That's so cute. Oh. I just want a whole series of just Guts and Shirk. Can we have that? Oh, come on, Valera. What we doing? Look how fast you're growing up. Psh. Oh, now come on, Valera. She's just a kid. Hey, Valera, I never would have guessed her first one would be an older guy. Oh, quit that. Maybe like some kind of father complex. Leave her alone. She doesn't have to have a relationship like that with Guts. But I guess he is a lot better than the other two. One's a pushover housemaid and the other's out of the question. Oh, and a monkey at that. Oh, I like that Isidro, who is the one that is most likely to be with her, is out of the question. And one is a pushover housemaid. Serpico is a pushover housemaid? Yes. And she's like, what are you talking about? A girl's first flower and feelings for this wild older man. He's like, elves, they're ridiculous. I'm tickled pink, how lovely. I like she puts her over his hat. I'm like, Valera, we were having a cute moment. Why'd you have to make it all gross and perverted? Now stop that. Leave her alone. She does not have to have feelings for anybody. What is it, company? You still surviving, huh? I could say the same for you. This person. Who? I like his skull looks darker there. I've been owing you lots of favors lately. Not like that's new. So for now anyways, thanks. What brings you here today? I doubt it's to check on my recovery. Don't tell me that you being here means there's an apostle nearby. And then Skull Knight looking directly at that suit of armor. Are you going to tell him about it? Are you going to tell him about the suit of armor? Are you going to tell him about it? Color fades from the eyes. The tongue loses taste. Shivering plagues the fingertips. Oh. How'd you know that? It's an omen. Each time you wear that armor and fight as the Berserker, light, voice, warmth, you will come to lose many things. That sounds about nasty enough from a cursed item from our place. Oh, sorry. No. Oh, sounds nasty, all right. As always, you talk like you know everything. Thanks for the warning, but sorry, that ain't gonna happen. I'll never lose myself that way again. Next time I'll show you I can handle this thing with temperance. Skull Knight's like, oh, that's great that you say that. I'm the one that wore it last. I mean, is that why the hair is going white? Like he's just slowly withering away? Like he's going to go blind, lose his taste? Yeah, it'll eventually take everything from him. As he says, it will not happen again. I like Shirk stepping up. What's with you? I won't let that happen. You're the one who helped us at Clefoth and the forest of the spirit tree. He is? Don't steal my thunder. In that respect, you're the... Oh, that's Gut saying that. Don't steal my thunder. In that respect, you were the most helpful. Unneeded help. Oh, Ivalera. Oh, wrong. He sliced through a dimension. But begging your pardon, just what kind of relationship did you have with the mistress? Oh, girl asking the tea. Yes, please. Get that down, girl. Ask the tea. We've been... Inquiring minds want to know. She claimed the Berserker armor was a very dangerous fetish and prudently applied a seal to it. Yet she always gazed upon it somewhat longingly. Uh-huh. Is not the suit of armor something once worn by yourself? And Guts is like, oh, wait, what? Waffles is like, girl knows all the details. You are quite shrewd, as I expect from the dearest student of the witch of the spirit tree forest. Indeed, that armor is something I once wore in the distant past, when we lived within the reason of time. Reason of time, which means that we were friends. Exactly like the two of you now. All right. I'll take it. Yeah, Skull Knight and Flora being besties. All right. If their relationship mirrors Guts and Shirk's, I'm all down for it. The odd that dwells in that armor is as a flame that never dies out. Even once contained, the coals yet smolder, given the chance it will explode into hellfire. Even if a talisman has been applied, never make light of it. If you wish to continue existing as a human, that is. Thanks for the kind words. While you're at it, could you fill me in? Why did the apostles attack the old lady's mansion? Oh, the hawk has but one goal, and you should know it better than anyone. Oh, he now exists beyond the reason of the physical world, where no one in the mortal realm can threaten him. It would be akin to someone in a story challenging the one who wrote it. It cannot be done. To stand and confront the hawk, one must exist outside the story. Then the reason my mistress was all the more so a powerful wielder of magic. He must have considered one witch to be more of an obstacle than a host of 10,000. Shirk, that's unforgivable. If you continue on your journey, you'll soon encounter the apostles again. What do you mean? And at that time, their commander will likely be the hawk. Now, Guts, don't get any crazy ideas. He just told you all about this armor and how it's a problem. How about we get to Elfhelm before we get to that? I do think, though, if we're talking about existing beyond the reason of the physical world, if he's giving the analogy of the author of the story, you would have to exist outside the story. Well, Guts and Casca technically exist outside the story. That's been their whole deal since the Tower of Conviction and everything. They're like the fish leaping through the water. They don't abide by the same rules as everyone else. He's coming. Oh, yeah, that dog. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, it like crawled up his hood and tried to swallow him again. Yeah, like his anger and everything. And then Shirk had to call him back to reality. Mm-hmm. To protect or to contend. You will continue to query your own soul. It's your fate as a man who stands in the interstice. However, I offer this hope. Elfhelm, the land you seek, the lord of the elves who sits there, is called King Hanafubuku. King Hanafubuku? You know him? I have heard that name. Who? Say what? He is the king of the elves, reputed in the legend to have immense power, and that title is not only recorded in grimoires, but also in many poems and stories. That bastard never said a word! I don't know if Puck knows, or if he's as well-versed as we think he is. Well, no way, say it ain't so. That little chestnut's ruler, he couldn't possibly be. How careless of me. The one governing Puck's homeland could be such a high elf. With his powers at hand. It should be possible for your partner. Oh, good! Okay, for the branded girl to regain her mind. Oh my God, okay, oh. Okay. I know y'all say trust Miura. Okay. I know you all say that. It has been a frustrating how many volumes? 13 volumes, a baker's dozen of volumes. It's been a frustrating baker's dozen of volumes. But, and I still contest, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more like insight into her character's mind. I stand by that. Having her do nothing for 13 volumes, I stand by that. But I was telling the moderators, I'm like, I don't know how Miura could make up for this. I don't know if it's going to be worth the wait. Okay. Fine. Okay. If you could sit by this long, if we get to Elfhelm and she can regain who she is, okay. We have a goal. We have a mission. Surely nothing bad will happen along the way. Is that true? You have my word. Casca, the boy in the moonlight. Oh, is this tying back? We'll come back. For real. Oh. That's all he wants. He just wants the old Casca back. We all do. Guts, you're happy now, but you're gonna have to snatch him away. Girl, leave him alone. Let Shirk and them just be friends. But don't forget, that's only after you pass through the ordeal that's to befall. Of course it is. Of course it is. More than anything. Ugh. Okay. I love that double spread and seeing Guts smile for like the first time in 20 volumes. That's what we got to work for. And it's like, but the thing of it is, don't be lured in by Griffith. Don't challenge him. Just protect Casca and go. You want to fight or flight. Now you got to flight away from Griffith. Get away from him. That armor's going to challenge him so much with that. Because the armor's going to want to do the opposite. Guts, I'm with you. I just want Casca back. So I'm with you. We're going to work with this. There is no guarantee that your wish will be her wish. Oh, what is this? What is this? What is this beautifully drawn eye and hair? Well, with the no guarantee that your wish will be her wish, I know what Guts wants. He wants the Casca that he knew back. I don't know. I, on the one hand, I know what Miura is saying. He's saying, like, if you bring Casca's mind back, yeah, you'll get the Casca you know back, but she'll have to re-experience all of those memories of all the bad things that that has happened to her. But I will tell you right now, as someone that has been assaulted like Casca, I guarantee I would rather have every memory of myself in that moment and beyond that than to not have those memories at all. It is better to have gone through that pain and forged ahead as a human than to be blissfully unaware that it never happened, even though it happened. Yeah, I can't imagine a Casca that wouldn't want to come back and have her own mind. I know this looks great and like, oh, little Casca, she just, she's having this great life, just floating around. No, she needs to experience the world like Guts did. That's like saying, well, Guts, you could be a mindless vegetable, and would that be better than struggling? Yeah, no. What is this? What is this, though? What is this? What is this creature? Is it androgynous? Is it both male and female? It looks like a little troll. But not like a troll like in the story, like the troll with the belly button gemstone from the 80s. What is this supposed to represent? It's drawn beautifully, but what is this? Casca? Really? You took her to relieve herself and she walked off? Every time! Like, how does this girl get away? Not the quickest horse in the herd there, Farty! I don't know what to say. Maybe this is a bad idea after all. Being a witch and her babysitter makes for a full plate. Oh my god. Leave Farnace alone. At least wear this hood, you'll catch cold. This is so complicated. Where Guts and the others at a time like this? Yeah, what is this child and Casca? It looks like if Guts and Casca had a kid and they grew up, that this would be it. But it's the vessel for Griffith, so how? Oh. Is something the matter? Well, that. Who is he? Oh, so it is a boy, yeah. We don't know. Lost, perhaps? All alone out there naked to boot. What was he, robbed? What is this boy? I sense a mysterious odd. He does look like Guts and Casca's kid. But that's not possible. Anyway, let's return to the cabin. The child will freeze out here. There is good news you should all hear. Good news. Okay. The brand didn't act up. The talisman's on there, but it never bled or anything. It looks like their kid, but is something wrong? No, it must be my imagination. I mean, I think that if Casca gets her mind back, yeah, there's going to be that initial period of, holy shit, you guys, I went for how long without being able to rationalize all this? And it's going to be hard, but I would rather her be able to struggle and process through her emotions and be able to live than to be blissfully unaware the rest of her life, Casca might be able to. Oh, for real? Yes. The Flower Storm Monarch is said in legend to be a great elven ruler, so I think there's little doubt. Legend? Hey, you smart aleck, little chestnut head. That ruler where you're from's amazing. Why'd you keep quiet, a show-off like you? He must not have known. This is wonderful news, Guts. Huh. Yeah, they even look kind of similar. There's no guarantee your wish will be her wish. Guts? Yeah. Still, she's acting like she's Farnesay. They certainly have grown attached. What's your name? Where'd you come from? Oh, he's so cute! I want to change an attitude, weird kid. We can check around the local villages tomorrow. Oh, it's so cute. This is like what their kids should look like, so I'm so baffled. I'm like, but the kid's the vessel for Griffith, so how does that work? Oh. 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 It's like he shows him the knife. What's that all about? Oh. Oh, that's so cute. He's like, oh, oh. Oh, and like he tried to fall asleep for a second. Oh. Maybe your armor fascinates him. Or maybe he's trying to pull it off because... Is this the baby? How? It's trying to pull it off because he knows it's evil. Oh, well, wait a minute. Oh. Oh, no. Oh. Don't let him fall on the knives. Oh. Oh. They look like a family there. They look just like a family there. Oh. Oh my gosh. I want this to be their baby that was able to like resurrect itself into this child, but I don't know how in the world that's possible. Because the child is in the apostle that is now the vessel for Griffith. So I don't know how this is possible, but this is just like what their kid would be like. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a family, sort of. Sure, do something. Get in there. What? Take what's yours. A love battle. She's like, again, leave me alone. Battlefield. Valera needs to drop it. Drop the subject with that. Oh. Farnesay is like, well, what do I say about that? And Serpico's like, well, we can't have that because we're siblings. We could, but we probably shouldn't. Oh. I love Puck sitting on Isidro's head. Yeah, and Guts thinks of her with the baby, with the demon baby. Yeah. But it kind of has like the same eye though, right? The last I caught sight of him was at the Tower of Conviction. It was for an instant, but I'm sure it was him. He must still be wandering around, alone somewhere in the night. Well, he's not alone. That's sure. What is this business with the alligator? What is this business with the alligator? Oh, familiars. Awesome. Yeah, so good. So there's a way. Just took us this long to get there, but there is a way. It would have been nice to preface that earlier, but whatever. To that the elf there could help them get Casca's mind back. And this whole drama of does she want her mind back or not? Well, I mean, obviously there's the living in bliss, but how many series have we watched? How many series have we seen? The blissful illusion of everything's fine versus the reality of humanity. Like, how many series have we watched where that's a theme? Like, of course Casca she's better with her mind back and her being herself, right? It's just gonna suck when it happens, but it's gonna be like ripping off a Band-Aid. Okay, so there's an apostle outside. Yep, an alligator. Something's coming, hidden in the fog. Fun, it's been a while since we saw any action. I thought he said it's been fun while it lasted. The talismans are flawless, so that should not be possible. The usual wraiths, perhaps? This odd is closer to the monsters who attack the mansion of the spirit of the tree rather than wraiths. It does feel like apostles. Here they come. Oh, of course! We got like one good chapter. We got one chapter of like just peace, and now we're back to these alligators attacking. What's this friggin' huge lizard? A dragon? Like Serpico saying that. No, it's a crocodile, an animal from foreign lands. Oh, is it the Kushan? Oh, you know, it stood up. Crocodiles are crazy. And that's got a damn harpoon, too. Oh, my God. Oh, there goes an eye. The eyeball didn't flop out, but it's there. Oh. This was produced by some kind of spirit dwelling in the animal, a magical life form. A kind of so-called familiar. But just who would? We have trouble. There's a whole swarm of them. Okay, so the alligators and stuff and like the elephants, they're not actual apostles. They're just, they've got a life form called a familiar inside of them that makes them kind of elevated from what they were. Okay. All right, Evalira. All right, good to go. Tonight's a full moon. When the time when the power of magic is most manifest. Full moons get my blood going too. God, of course it does. Everybody acts crazy on a full moon. Even though this is not a church or holy ground, I can still extend a formation of the four rulers. Buy me a little time until the completion of the spell. Farnese, please see to Casca and the child. Keep it together now, servant. Yes, ma'am. Oh. And of course, Casca would want to take care of the kid because she had the demon baby. Oh, and him just like, oh my God, him tying his hand to the sword. He tied his hand to the sword. Oh my God, just leave it to the other two. In your shape, he's like, I'm fine. This will be perfect for getting back into practice. Shirk is like, a full moon is also when a person's mind is most unhinged. Did you just see Isidro? Be extra cautious. Oh. Couldn't get outside if you wanted. There's so many. It's feeding time. Oh my God. Sweet, they burst open. As good as the bombs. Full moon limited time magic burnout. Oh, look at Serpico with the hair fluttering up. When the hair flies up and you see Serpico's forehead, he does kind of look like Farnese a little bit. He flew like laundry dancing out in the wind. It does seem to function better than usual. Yeah, okay. Oh, my style of swordplay. Insta-kill. The bastard, it really moves. Fear the crocodile. Nuh-uh, you rolled toward its mouth. It's got a low posture to begin with. You might as well have been bait rolling. First hit it with the magic berries, then attack after it flinches. It's too many details. Oh, Isidro. What does Puck say there? I don't think that this will fill its stomach. But just their bite size. Oh! Oh, do the barrel roll, Isidro, and get its gut. Oh, look at you! Look at you, Isidro! Oh, hey, stop! Move! Oh, it's a close one. Repeat, not the same mistakes. Puck is Yoda. You're really acting like a master today. Mm-hmm. Right, so like that, and damn, there's a lot of them. They're slower than trolls, but bigger and tougher. This could be a problem. Uh-huh. Well, it could be. But also... Or it could be that. Yeah. Just... Like, yeah, the violence is just horrific, but what else can we do? Otherwise, they're going to kill us. So that's just what we have to do. We have to cut through them. That just isn't a necessary thing to happen. Oh. Wow, he's totally recovered. But yeah, it is straining. All right. Oh, that little baby. That little kid. It really looks like Guts and Casca's kid. Y'all, the eyebrows, the eyes, the nose. It's got Casca's mouth. I don't know how, but something's up. I do like this concept of Guts using this momentum as kind of like, I do like the idea, and I'm going to adjust my camera here, of him using both Casca and the baby as motivation. That would be great. The baby's adorable. I like this baby being here. I don't know how this baby is here. I don't know why it looks like Guts and Casca's love child. I don't know the rhyme or reason, but I do like the potential that it could bring them together. It could be that thing that brings them together. I was thinking it was going to be the telepathic thing that Shirk had told them, but it's fine if that's not the case. But yeah, I'm so curious as to what we're going to get. Supernatural fog. Meanwhile, Guts is he's Crocodile Dundeeing it out here. He's going to town. He's basically just, oh my God, annihilating these alligators. Again, Miura has found something else that he is also having a beef with, and that is gators and crocodiles. Miura went to an Everglades and vowed to take vengeance. It's sniffing the scent of blood. It's aiming for a chance to be released. Don't yield your mind to it. Keep your head cool. Draw out the minimum power of the armor. Only control the pain enough to move freely. The one holding the reins is me. I like that I wondered for a second if that was Shirk saying that or Guts saying that, but it's Guts saying that. And I like that he's like, just, you have to be in control. And I like the idea that Guts is like, through the course of this, the idea is that he has to be in control. And if he's in control of his power, then, I mean, let's be real, this whole series is about Guts and about a man taking control of his anger and his sorrow and his emotions and channeling them into being functional, is essentially what this is getting into. Right? And Guts is literally a walking curse. He just suffers the most out of any protagonist, I think, in any series. So he's got a lot to deal with. Hurry. Yeah, all these alligators coming in here. Oh, here's one. Oh, what do you mean doing? Do something. Oh, turn it into a bag. Chuck a crocodile hide. Oh, come on now. Okay. How is that not the baby? How is it not? It looked at the crocodile and the crocodile left. How? How is it not? But how? How is it? How does that make sense? Y'all. If it's not Guts and Casca's baby, then what is it? And is it friend or foe? Markto, Ateg, Gepla, Gedula, Lay, Oram. All right. Oh, I love all the alligators looking up, and it's like a UFO beam. Just get them. Isidro always got to be so damn flashy. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, Puck says. At night, it looks like an aurora. Everyone, are you all right? Well, of course we are. For now, at least, the cabin is secure. But they are not like the trolls, one who have only astral bodies. Though they are warped, their bodies are of flesh. The spiritual sensitivity of the astral bodies wrapped in the membrane called matter is quite dulled. There is a limit to the efficacy of the bulwark against them. If they continue to advance on it, eventually... In other words, take care of these things before that. That will take too long. These familiars do not possess the will power to act individually. There is sure to be a nearby spellcaster controlling the mob. If you defeat him, where is he at? I'm searching now. Just do it quick, Miss Witch. So yeah, I also like the idea that we're kind of, as we go, the monsters are getting more advanced and more complicated and stronger. Like with the trolls, it was like, okay, as long as they don't throw like a stick at us, we don't have to worry about them as long as we have like a barrier. But here, they're legit flesh and blood animals. So while the magic is, hindered a little bit, it still makes them a problem because they are literal crocodiles. Oh, shit. That damn dog coming up. Like, the imagery of the dog demon crawling up his back is so creepy. There's so many of them. They're nasty. See? And like Casca and that baby have the same eyes. And the same hair. Oh, time out. Wait. Still nothing. Follow the flow of odd. There, behind the rocks on the shore. Oh. Okay. Oh, shit. Yeah, Serpico just went boop, and then they were gone. Oh. And then the crocodiles all, like, the spiritual power left them and they were all just crocodiles and they were like, oh, never mind. Guts is really trying hard to hold it together, though. He looks like he's really trying hard to hold it together. Wait, not yet. These are Kushan. Oh, no, the fog. Oh, no. Is that the one emperor, the one guy? Uh-oh. Everyone move away from there now. What gives? There fish walking around this time? Oh, shit. Oh! Oh! What the fudge is that? Oh, it's him, the emperor. It's got his teeth coming out. It's a demon with his teeth coming out of there and the elephant trunk. That's him, right? Oh my God, that looks insane. Oh, the detail. Oh, the line art. Oh, the sea beast Makara. Oh my God. Yeah, it looks like the emperor has like the teeth and everything. What is that? Giant monster? I don't know, but as with familiars, its too is a life form produced by an ethereal body inhabiting some kind of animal. Some kind of animal? Yeah, there's some kind of animal like that? It's bigger than an ogre. Oh crap, here it comes. A kaiju. Hanagon. We can't run, it's blocking the direct path to the beach. If it were just an ethereal body, perhaps, but my bulwark can't stop an object that huge. If it storms us, the cabin and everyone else will be flattened. Oh, and Serpico's aiming for the eyes, but that damn trunk! Oh no! It fought wind with wind. That was careless. Thanks to the spirits, my life was spared. Oh, what does it say? Party foul! Damn it, Puck! The caster controlling it is at sea. It's no use. It's too far away. Damn it. Oh! Talk about strength. Snout strength. It doesn't even care about the bulwark. It's too obtuse. Your magic ain't working. You be quiet, monkeys. Spiritual spells alone won't work. Physical phenomena have to accompany the spell. Oh my God, Guts. Guts! You mustn't if you continue fighting. Oh. Oh my gosh, Guts. Oh my gosh, look at that double spread. Oh my God, he just cut off the eye. Oh, he just cut the eye right out. There goes the eyeball. There goes the biggest eyeball in the whole series so far. Oh. Oh. Oh my gosh, wow. He's not given an inch with that huge thing. Well, it looks like Guts is back to his old self. Don't you think this will work out? No. Oh, look out! Oh, shit, Guts. Oh, you bastard! Here it comes. Oh, my God. Oh, yep, he's got, like, the blood on the back of the rock where he hit his head. Oh, my gosh. No, not good. Well, I'll smash him. I'll make some sashimi out of you. Oh, and Guts can see them all. He can see Casca and the baby. And then Farnese and Shirk. And Serpico holding Isidro back. And Puck looking like he's going to do something. Yeah, oh, you can see. Oh, it's his eye. You can see out of his eye there. Oh, Guts. Why does all these bad things have to happen to Guts? Oh, my God. Oh. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, the armor and everything. Oh, it's so creepy. Ew, the blood as it, like, goes over his head. Oh. It's such cool armor, but I hate that Guts is taken over by it because it's slowly killing him. Oh, my God. Oh. Oh, guts. Yeah, he just tore out its eye there too. Oh my god. And it like the head coming over it too feels like Femto, like the helmet overtaking his head, just like Femto's helmet overtook him like a bird. Oh my gosh, that parallel there. Oh, yeah. Oh shit, there it is. Oh my god. Oh, he just cut the whole trunk off. Oh, it's like highly efficient, but then a major problem. Oh shit. Yeah, that wound's gonna open up again. It's inhuman. It's so strong. I will draw him back. The roar of the sea. It's just okay. Yeah, it's so horrifying because Miura's giving us this like here's the badass armor, but it comes with such a heavy price. It's like oh my god. What else can you say about this artwork other than it's gorgeous? Other than every page is a masterpiece. I don't know what else to say. I can't gush about it enough. I'm gushing about it as much as Guts is gushing out blood in this armor. The roar of the sea. It swells blackly from the expanse of the dark night. Again, talking about Griffith, it draws me down to the deep seabed, a booming like a roar. Yeah, oh my god, like down into the depths of it like a dang Sarlacc pit. Oh my god. Oh, and it's its mouth. Okay, it's its mouth, not the bottom of the ocean. He's going down into it. Okay. Oh my god. Oh, yep. Oh. Oh my gosh. How much ink do you think Miura had all over his arm as he was... How much ink do you think he had just spreading all down his arm from that moment of doing that one page? Like, I'm sure it was covered. I'm sure it was. Oh. But then he comes out of the monster and just starts cutting up crocodiles. Yeah. As Chirka's trying to reach him. He's just trying to, like, he can't stop, like, killing things. Because it's taking him over. Yeah. Oh my god. Like, just overkill. They're just crocodiles now. They're not even spirits. They're just crocodiles. Like, he just is just causing destruction. Oh. It's crazy. This way he's going to kill every last one of them. That's one sick fighting style, though. An animal butcher. Yeah, PETA wouldn't be having this. Not a bit. They're not resisting, and he's not hesitating. I feel kind of ill. I'm hoping I'm wrong. According to legend, those called Berserkers inspired fear not only in their enemies, but also among their allies. Not for their relentless fighting style alone, but because, whether friend or foe, they were said to slay everything around them. Well, yeah, the armor does not discriminate. The armor wanted him to kill... The demon, the dog demon wanted him to kill Casca. Like, the armor does not care who it is, right? Yeah, inside his mind, all he's seeing through those eyes are just the mouths of enemies coming after him. So he's just swinging without knowing what he's doing, without knowing who it is he's facing. Oh my god. Yep. Stay away, stay away, stay away. Cut and kill. Loathing, enemy, fear. Kill, attack, hate, stay. Shoot, slash, chop. And they're all like, each slash is like the eye. It's just like the little tear in the fabric of the universe. Each slash is like the eyeball there. And his eye is going the opposite direction until it's like fading away. Yeah, he's just getting swallowed by it. Oh no, and he can't see them directly. He can only see them like, oh, you called it. Oh, come on, Guts. I want her to, I like at Serpico. His eyes are open. We see his eyes open in this shot. He is like freaking terrified. Paying attention. Oh. Hey, aren't you done yet, Shirk? Everyone get back. Serpico. Stop. Oh my God. That is maybe one of my favorite panels and pages in a long time. She's like Flora. She's like, Flora was this beautiful, like full-grown woman, fire spirit, and Shirk is a little flame. She's a little flame version. She's not fully grown yet. She's not fully cooked yet. Oh, that's so good. And she's like the light in all that darkness. Oh. Stop. Superhuman. Jinanen. In the name of love. Not your enemies. Don't be afraid. Oh. Oh, I love it. And zapped him back. Oh my God. Oh, yes, girl. I love it. Yes. What was that? Is he back to normal? I don't know. Look closely. Listen closely. And it's like him coming up from the bottom of the ocean, and there's the light at the water's surface. Yes. The water's surface. Stretch out your hand. Guts. Yes. Oh my God. Oh, yes. Oh my God. Yes. Oh. Oh. Okay. All right. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's such a good page. Oh. Oh, my heart. Mm-hmm. Guts. Teacher, Shirk. Are you with it, man? Are you all right? Oh. Yeah, I'm just like gasping for air, coming up for air amongst it. Oh. Yes, please. Son of a bitch. In the end, it was just like he said. Being set in your own ways will make you old before your time. Right? Yeah, you're right. Oh my God. Oh. Oh, that makes me want to cry happy tears. Oh. Yeah, right. I don't know what that's about. But as long as we got her magic, you can go back to normal, right? Good enough then. Are you aware of how serious this is? One wrong move and Guts' life will be in danger. One wrong move and you'll be cut in half. How's it different from any other time? Insensitive to danger. We might have been in a tight spot, but it was thanks to that armor we weren't smashed by that huge thing, right? Badass killer moves and such can be risky, but that's why they're so awesome. I think so too. We should be genuinely happy with what we've accomplished. We're all aware of the dangers. This is how we've survived thus far. Well, that's pretty persuasive coming from one who hardly accomplishes anything. Leave Farnace alone! Well, you girls got a lot in common. Oh, you think so? Ivalera hasn't done much, so I do agree with that. Well, that was no compliment. Talk about awkward, being consoled by a bunch of women and children. Serpico's like, I'm here too. Serpico's like, well, I'm also here, but thanks. Well, we'll leave it at that this time. Just a little further, and I would have. Mm-hmm. But what about Casca and the baby? That moment, the light stopped me. What was that? It was Shirk. Isidro, Puck, help me. We're looking for my equipment that went flying. What's with what with that? With what? Gathering food? With this much meat, we'll eat like kings for a while. I mean, yeah, gator tail's amazing, so they're good. Before that, We must see to your reopened wounds. Yeah, Serpico is like, yeah, this is all great and all because Shirk is here, but if she's not here, we're screwed. I do worry a little bit about Shirk because I feel like they targeted the witch, they targeted Flora because they knew that her magic would help keep Guts afloat, and now Shirk's there. I feel Shirk is going to be targeted, and that's the last thing I want because she doesn't deserve that. Oh, what's up, Casca? Where's the boy? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, she was just holding him a second ago. Brat. Well, it's no use. I don't see him anywhere. I should find him quickly by his odd, but for some reason, same here. I even looked under the crocodiles. If he turns out to be Griffith in disguise and like he changed forms to like spy on them and to see what was going on with the Berserker armor. Nuh-uh. It's all right. I'm sure he went home. It couldn't be. Oh, so is Guts thinking that that little flame was the kid and not Shirk? Because I thought that Shirk was the little flame, and then she reached out and found him and like became more manifest, but he thinks that the kid was the flame. Huh. Well, it can't be helped anyway. Let's get away from here. Nothing says we've seen the last of these. Come on, Casca. Does this thing change shape? The magical element's gone, so it's resumed its original form, so it was a whale. Yeah, what's up with this kid? What? It's not a demon because its eyes aren't slits. So it can't be Griffith, but... What? And then this Kushan ship is over here, and it's connected to the Emperor because it has the mouth with the headdress and everything. What? Miura, you can't just introduce this plot element with no explanation, with no rhyme or reason, and then say, oh yeah, now it's gone. Did it get older? Did it grow up even more? It was a little kid. What is... Miura, I swear, you need to stop this nonsense, and you can't just do things and then let them end forever. What? Reporting, Master Daiba. Pishaka mastery of the entire Bay Shore is complete. I'm aware of that. Tell His Excellency, the Land Army General, to hurry and advance his forces. Things would not go so smoothly using the Army's crude methods. An entire peninsula of villages and outlying habitations fully subjugated within a single night. Not in secret. And in secret, not a single fire lit. Not a single inhabitant remaining. Not even a piece of flesh. But one thing worries me. The thoughts from one group of Harishada ceased. There should not be anyone in this land who can massacre the Pishaka endowed by His Majesty. No, there can't be. So, yeah, they're like the one... So they've basically been using all of these animals that are imbued with spiritual power. And he's using the pipe, like a hookah, to send out the spiritual things to go and inhabit them, I'm sure. And one group did not report back. And that's the one that faced Guts' place. So, yeah, they're just using this to try to take the place over. Well, I mean, that was really great that the this little random MacGuffin came, protected Casca, and evaporated into the moonlight. Miura, that better not be the last we've seen of that kid. How dare you? How dare you? Miura's just like, I don't know, just here's this one thing, bye. I'm like, this one thing that looked like their child that was possibly protecting Guts like the baby fetus did, that was protecting Casca like the fetus did, but you're not going to tell us a damn word about it, and Skull Knight doesn't want to say a word either. Okay, fine. How dare you? How dare you, sir? You're like, I guess we'll just have to keep reading. Okay, well, the ships, that seems like something, I don't know. Okay, well, this is not the ships. This is something different. Navy Yard. Why is Puck and Isidro looking like that? Oh, this is from the cover. We're at a castle, and there's a bunch of troops and everything. Okay. Okay. Hopefully we're through with all that religious nonsense. Because I don't want Shirk to be in the middle of it. This whole thing's an army. So many troops, it's crazy. It's actually a muster of armies from all the Holy Sea's territories. The great knights of the Tudor Empire and the Kingdom of Baldin from the east, the royal knights of the duchies of Morgar and Wallatoria, the army of the newly established Randall Commonwealth under the Paneria Alliance, the army of Lana, the mercenary groups of Ferris, Nisi, and Vitranus. Okay, we've heard Vitranus before, right? And various others. How do you know that? Because Serpico was a herald of arms. He has every coat of arms of national and royal troops memorized. Of course he does. Oh, the noise splittens my ears. What's wrong? Nothing. It's like thunder. It's just so barbaric. Boys sure do love this stuff. Yeah, it gets the blood going. Gets the blood going. Rage, riot. Hey, which army's the strongest? Well, let me see. With Midland's forces practically decimated, it must be Tudor's regular army. Though I cannot agree with their sense of style. Oh, really, Serpico? Really? No other nation can put that number of heavily equipped knights brigades into active duty. When it comes to equipment, the Baldin army is on par with Tudor, but that kingdom is currently dealing with a peasant insurrection, so it must not be able to spare many soldiers for this conflict. Randall only in recent years won independence from Baldin. It was originally a settlement where criminals were sent to reclaim it from the wetlands. So it is an aggressive national character, and it could be said to want to demonstrate firm sense of presence amongst the nations of the Holy See via this conflict. While Mulgar and Wallatoria are small, they are located furthest east of the Holy See nations, so they are veterans who have many times crossed the sea with the Kushan. Though the countries of Paneria are in alliance, they were until quite recently a group of city-states that continually engaged in skirmishes over territories. So unlike nations with domains, with the exception of Lana, they have no standing armies, but hire mercenary bands for each conflict. I would write this on Whiteboard Coon, but I kind of feel like Shirk kind of says the obvious thing, and we talked a little bit about this in the last volume. Shirk is like, this is just barbaric. Like, y'all are just fighting each other. At the end of the day, what's it going to do? Like, war begets more war. So I like this contrast of Shirk kind of representing this magical astral world where she's like, I'm more concerned with like the realms of magic and exploring the limits of humanity and what we can accomplish by getting in touch with the astral world. And it's all hippie and wonderful. And then here it's like, oh, well, here's all these different armies. And yeah, this person's on par with this person, but this person's getting more mercenary help and blah, blah. In the last volume, we found out it's just people killing people. Is all it amounts to. And I'm wondering if he's going through this big, long list of different armies and all of the agendas. And Isidro's like, well, you're incredible, knowledgeable king. You weren't just some servant. He says, I was just a servant. I would not presume to deny that amongst you all. I was just a servant. He's like, I just happen to know all these things. Guts, this clamorous preparation for battle. A scent my body knows well. My old home on the battlefield. Yeah, and here we go. There's everything leading up to them getting in there. Like, this is what Guts grew up with. This is from volume 1. This is from the first episode of the anime where it was just him... I guess episode 2, but him working his way up as a mercenary since he was a kid. Like, this is the only world that he's known. I love how Shirk is there to call out kind of like, just like Guts called out the hypocrisy of the Holy See and the organized religion and everything. Shirk kind of calls out kind of like the barbaricness of battle and war. And she's just like it ain't her bag, right? I don't know if I like that darkness up in the tower though. Just going to note that real quick. Of course, Isidro is a young boy, so, as stereotypical young boys go, he thinks this is great. Oh, it's like Soldier Land. Veritanus flourished as a leading trade city within the Holy See territory in the first place, but now the city has become a canteen. The crowd is bothering me. There's so many smells mixed together and I feel ill. It stinks of human. Are you all right? Well, that's the problem with bumpkins. If you ain't serious, they'll mess with you. But when there's so many people swarming. Oh, yeah. Why does that seem familiar? Well, this is fun, stealth mode. Yeah, because they can't see them. Hark, brethren gathered for the holy war. If you've confidence in your skills, come ride with us. Oh, we are the band of the Dawn Fang. As you know, gentlemen, our deeds of arms include going unbeaten in the Randall War of Independence, as well as defeating a Baldan Heavy Knight Brigade. I like that all this stuff has been going on while everything else has been happening in the story. I do really appreciate that Miura is explaining that, yeah, while Guts and them have been dealing with this, here's all the other shit that's been going down that they've not even been paying attention to. Oh, who are those flashy guys? Are they street performers? He's a recruitment barker. That's how mercenary bands enlist troops. The guy on the stand's the leader. The leader does this himself? To choose a mercenary band, you look at the leader first. Does he look dependable? Does he look wealthy? And most important is whether he gets on well with the soldiers. That one looks too high and mighty. Mercenaries aren't patriots or champions of some great cause. It's all about earning enough to eat. The strength is the rule for a mercenary band, but first you gotta see if the boss is on your side or the employer's. Indeed, to mercenaries, war is just business. It's usually the case that they are driven from their homes by war and too destitute to subsist. They fight because they must. So it makes sense that a commander who values his men, even above victory, is more welcome than a great one who wins at the cost of their lives. Yeah, so, we get back to the first part of the story talking about the Band of the Hawk. Your life's on the line either way. The real question is whether you want to risk it for your comrades or be just another pawn. So they should be strong with a charismatic leader everyone likes. If you're a man, then you get ahead by your own skills. Oh, I recall one with charisma. Charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, huh? Sir Griffith. Oh, we're going to just burst open that wound, Sir Picot. Just rip Band-Aid off right now. The mercenaries he led were the Band of the Hawk. And Puck's like, oh, shit. In the 100-Year War between Midland and Tudor, he never lost to his Tudor opponents. That name, I've heard Guts say it at one point. When Griffith was with Zod. He was a legendary mercenary leader who, after the Band of the Hawk became part of Midland's regular army, brought about the surrender of the impregnable stronghold of Doldry and defeated the Holy Purple Rhino Knights, said to be the mightiest in Tudor's army. His actions ultimately led to the conclusion of the war. But what's Farna saying? Puck thinking, what's Guts going to say about that? I know that one. Every man does. At any rate, it's no exaggeration to say that it was thanks to hearing that I decided to go down this road. Yeah, that Griffith dude was incredible, but the Band of the Hawks Raiders captain, what's his name? That guy was wicked strong. Oh, and Guts is like, I mean, he cut down something like 100 to 1,000 opponents. They say they took down those primo rhino guys single-handedly. And Guts is like, that's exaggerated. No. But ironically, it can also be said that the discord between Sir Griffith and the king was the cause of the fate of Midland faces today. A big rise and a big fall. It's so cool. Oh, hey, didn't you used to be a mercenary, Guts? What group were you with? It was a long time ago. I've forgotten. He doesn't want to admit that he was that guy Isidro was looking up to. Rumor has it the Hawks were later destroyed by the king's scheming, but also some say they remain in Midland and are fighting the Kushan. I don't know the real truth. As a warrior of the Band of the Hawk, I will call upon the Black Swordsman in single combat. We got Grunbeld, yeah. And Guts is like, well, we know they're still up and going. Oh no, what are we doing? Oh, hold it, girl. What's with these guys? You mean me? What kind of outfit is that? Teacher. Plucked. Oh, right. I was so used to it that I forgot. Oh, man. Oh, no. She's like in the worst place. This is the Holy Sea's inner citadel. Right now, it's the same as Holy Ground. We won't let you enter in such an outrageous get-up. Oh, really? The outfit is for performance, good official. Performer? You petty official? It's not allowed even for performance. Oh. These are not the droids you're looking for. I was like, you leave Shirk alone. Girl does not need any of y'all to mess with her. What's wrong? They're stiff as boards. Let us proceed. I hear you, but wasn't that a bad idea? You got a problem? It is all right. I can manipulate the odd of people to divert their attention. Oh, wow. This way. Oh, good. I was like, don't you, Miura, you better not let anything bad happen to her. She's too pure and precious. Leave her alone. Oh. Quiver in fear. A witch exposed. Yes, the center of attention. Evil Ira. Oh, come here. Oh, quit interfering. What is it? We can't have you dressed like that. We gotta buy you some normal clothes somewhere. My, jealous. Talk about unsightly. Surely you jest. This is normal for me. Well, you'll be burned at the stake. I won't tread so clumsily. I'm not you. Why are you so stubborn? Oh. Oh no, and I bet that hat is one that Flora gave her. Oh, my bad. You're cruel. What? Over a worn out hat? Here comes a magic tag. You should listen to advice. I'm dead. They remind me so much of Guts and Casca, like Isidro being like all like loudmouth and being like all big, not burly necessarily, but being like just shedding whatever he says and not thinking about it. And Shirk reminds me a little bit of Casca, where she's like, you don't know the full story and you're being cruel. And it just reminds me of the two of them so much. But don't make Shirk cry. Idiot, you wander around the city like that? Well, damn it, what's she thinking, that witch? Hey, Dropey, you suck. Hey, Droppy, you suck. It's Dropey, evil airhead. Evil airhead instead of Ivalera is amazing, because she is kind of an airhead, but that's so funny. That hat and her clothes were handmade by Flora. Everything else burned in the fire. Handmade? They're mementos, you hear? Making a girl cry. You are a monkey. Shirk, wait. Isidro. Oh, don't feel down. Here, have this. Yeah, he didn't know that they were handmade by Flora and given to her, and that's all. That's the last she has from them. We'll go look for lodging. We've got through transference, and I don't think anyone here could do anything to a genuine witch. But we can't have dinner getting cold. Go bring her back. I'll go with you, too. Oh, wait, Shirk. Oh, bless me, she's cute. I say, hey, look at that. Where are you going? Where there are no people. I kind of don't like this place. People everywhere are so much odd. Everything around us is stone. It's so suffocating. I miss the forest. I like that in these shots of Guts, he has his one eye closed. Oh. Oh! Let's just go down this dark alley. And let's just go down this dark alley and see this horrific thing. Like, just there. What is that? City of humans. It looks like it's on a rope, like it's hung, but it also looks like a lure. I don't like this. No, Shirk, stay away from it. There's nobody in these hallways anymore. There's nobody around. It's empty. I don't like this. They're luring you to trap you. Stop. No. Nope. I don't like this at all. It's like a lure. Nope. What are you? Oh, Shirk. No. Oh, my God. Oh. Not good. Not good, Cotton. Not good at all. Don't you do anything bad to Shirk. Nope. Nope. Nope, this is not good. Oh, the spirits. They're coming from them. Oh my God. Move away for a moment, Ivalera. And she grabbed the rope. Oh, yeah. To see his memories. Oh, that's awful. Oh. Oh no, what's the matter? Oh my god, and all of them. Yeah, they're all coming out and she can sense them easier because she's a witch. Set me free. Let me down. Let me down. Oh, who are you? Oh no, leave her alone. Oh, for what offense were these people hanged? This ain't a good place for children to wander around. And what's with the outfit, girl? You supposed to be a witch? Yes, I am. Don't mess with her. Ah, yes, so you are. Okay, ah. These aren't the droids you're looking for. These guys, they're Kushan. But then Kushan are not. They were slaves living in Veritranis. Slaves? This here Veritranis is a city of merchants. If it'll make money, they'll sell it. Anything to anyone. To other countries of the Holy See, the Kushan are just enemy heathens, but in this city they're also stock. Well, more like livestock. But of course, with this big war on, can't have that anymore. Veritranis here has chosen with pride to be the Holy See's navy yard. Even the city government had no way of letting them stay in the city how they were. Instead, it hanged them like this as sacrifices to promote war sentiment. They weren't criminals or nothing. Guess they were just unlucky. That was the sole reason. People will take each other's lives that unjustly. To pillory corpses is a desecration of the dead. It is impermissible. I will take them down immediately and cremate them. You two will assist me. Is that understood? Yeah, because it's like, it's one of those things with that Miura is saying in this. I love how pure Shirk is because she's like, this is all stupid. Like, the Kushan are fighting against all the armies. They're all fighting against each other. But at the end of the day, they're all humans. And it's like everything you're doing against them, it's so stupid. It's just back and forth, right? And she's like, because you're not treating these bodies properly, these dead souls are just roaming the city and causing a muck. And she's like, you're making this horrible. I love her face there, how mad she is. Oh. Oh, who's this watching? Is it Sonia? The blonde hair. And you can see the spirits rising up out of the sky. I don't know. I don't like this. Oh, I like that he carved a pumpkin into Shirk. Oh my god, he carved a little pumpkin out of her. No luck. And then he gave it to the woman to eat, or the old man to eat. Same here. The buildings keep me from searching the sky. And I can't pick out Shirk's presents from all these people. I figured she'd stick out with how she looks, but with this many people, nobody seems to care. I guess all we can do is wait for Shirk's telepathy. She don't respond when we call her anyway. Oh, where's that witch running her at? Oh, no. Oh, did you say something about a witch just now? I beg your pardon, but might I hear some more about that? No, they're probably with Griffith. No. Don't tell him about the witch. Don't you let Shirk get hurt. Son of a bitch. Shirk, let's go back. The sun's going to set. Hey, I said. Oh my God. On the one hand, Shirk, go back. And Isidro, don't tell anybody about Shirk. We don't need to know about witches. That'll just get Griffith's attention. Don't do that. But this ship is incredible. This illustration of this ship. He didn't have to draw it, but here it is. What? Oh. What's this? It's so big. It feels like it's going to squash us. It's scary. And there's so many. I bet a whole forest of trees wouldn't be enough for these. Why'd they make a thing this big? Do they need something this big to carry? Where can't they reach without this? What's the multitude going to do? Have that many people and objects gathered just to shed blood? This is the world in which they belong to. Mistress, In this place, the voices of the spirits are very feeble, drowned out by the voices of people. Oh. Oh, Shirk, you clutching your little witch's hat makes me want to cry. Because, yeah, she's like, why do you need this big ship to cross the sea? Oh, the kite and the owl of the wharf. Oh, my God. Where exactly is that witch? Well, who are you? You came out of nowhere. He looks like Rickard. Oh, wait. Is this Mule? Wait. If you want to ask something, don't do it from up high on your horse. Well, pardon. I'm looking for someone. If you know something regarding this witch, will you tell me? Why is someone like you looking for a witch? I see how it is. You're going to catch the witch and hand her over to the officials, aren't you? Then you can climb the ladder. The ladder? Don't play dumb. Just look at you. I bet you're some aristocratic, squirely cream puff. I bet you figure if you pull this one off, you'll get promoted as a knight. That's petty. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, wait, listen to what I have to say. Oh, what the heck? But he has the Band of the Hawk inscription on his armor. I don't care if that's Mule or not. No, Isidro, do not talk to him. I don't trust him one bit. No. How'd he dodge that? I was in stealth mode. Not good. We gotta find the witch before he does. Or it's the stake for real. Then again, she just magic up a flood. All the birds on her. Shirk, I'm hungry. Let's go back. Oh, fuck. Here comes somebody. Witches really do exist. Nope, she's freaky. I don't like her one bit. You're a witch, aren't you? Get away, Shirk. Get away from this creepy girl. She reminds me of, Miranda from Game of Thrones. Miranda, who is like all about Ramsay. I don't like her one bit. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Do I look like one? You bet. I mean, a pointed hat and a wand, and you're talking to animals. Besides, there's her. A girl with an elf in tow can only be a witch. This girl, you can see me. There's also what happened earlier. Those Kushan who'd been hanged, you set them free, didn't you? They were pretty, like fish swimming in the evening sky. Were you able to see that? It was cool watching you wrap those grown men around. Your finger made me feel much better. Was that magic? It was not so big of a deal. Oh, but it was big. It was just something akin to a suggestion. But don't witches live in forests or mountains? Why are you here of all places? I'm on a journey. Alone? Well, you have her, so are the two of you alone? No. A lot has happened since we came to this city. Sure is hard being different than others. I want to trust her so bad, but she freaks me the F out. I'm just saying. There's something about her that I don't trust. And you? Are you of this place? Uh-huh. I guess a lot's happened to me too. You see, to put it one way, once upon a time, there was an ugly duckling. Oh, I know of that fairy tale. A duck. The ugly duckling was different from everyone else. So she was ostracized. You see, the ugly duckling was a swan. She was a kite. Huh? One day, a nasty murder of crows attacked the duck's pond. The meek duck couldn't even fly away, so they quacked in terror. Oh, everyone was captured. The young kite was convinced she was just an odd duck and was also captured, but she did not know how to fly. So the crows are, she's saying they're the Kushan because they have the little eye emblems, and she's saying that she was an outsider alongside everyone else that was captured, but she went along with it thinking she could blend in. Just then, it was the king of birds who saved the ducks. He was a white hawk. A hawk. The white hawk brought servants, the dragons, and in the blink of an eye finished off the crows. The hawk and kites are something like kinsfolk, as for the first time the young kite met one of her own and realized she could fly. Oh, and then, the elf's heart's in the bag. The white hawk rampaged around the kingdom, crusading against the murderous crows. Not only dragons, but ducks and even stray crows who were formed followed the white hawk. She's basically just telling us the whole story. She describes herself as a kite that's similar to him. I feel like maybe she's one who thinks that she's like chosen by the God Hand and the apostles as well. The young kite was special. Only she could fly in the same sky and feel the same wind as the hawk. Neither the wild dragons nor the frail ducks could do that. What a dreamy situation. But then, one day it happened. The duck princess, who had been captured by the Crow King, was rescued by the hawk. Yep, and there's Charlotte and Abby. What's her name? Anna or Abby, one of the two. Interesting. The kite situation, like, does she see herself like, it's interesting because in previous, with Casca, I don't think Casca ever saw herself in the same sky as Griffith. I feel like she always saw herself like protecting him, kind of like the dragon or the army, but she never saw herself on the same playing field. I feel like Guts I don't think that Guts necessarily saw himself in the same league as Griffith, even though he was capable of it, but he was striving to be that same league. So the timid ducks wanted the white hawk and the duck princess to mate so they would have a strong tie to the hawk. Well, yes, that is exactly what I thought was going to happen when he rescued her. The young kite was not amused. She is Miranda! This is literally Game of Thrones. This is literally when Ramsay... Game of Thrones spoilers, sorry. But this is when Ramsay takes Sansa in and she's jealous. That's exactly what this is. She was the only one who could fly in and feel the same sky as the hawk. But it didn't matter. So the sullen young kite tried to distract herself by gazing at the sea. So what then? What then? Well, by the sea the kite met a young owl from the forest who was surrounded by seagulls. The kite thought even though she's surrounded by so many seagulls, the owl looks lonely for some reason. We're kind of alike, gazing at the same setting sun. Maybe we can be friends, she thought. The owl thought so too. Maybe she's... I don't know how to feel, because on the one hand, I would love for Sonia and Shirk to become friends. I would love for that. I would like Sonia and Shirk to become buddies. I don't know how the rest of the crew will feel when they find out that she's been in Griffith's personal entourage and has watched some shit go down. But maybe if she's Shirk's friend, maybe if she's Shirk's friend and she's jealous of Charlotte, she'll give them insight and tell them all the details because she's jealous of Charlotte. Or maybe she'll be evil. I don't know. Oh, that girl. I saw her heading towards the pier earlier. Really? She with you? You better hurry then. That area turns rough when the sun sets. Armed merchantmen belonging to the wannabe pirates are always moored there. If you're not careful, you can get kidnapped and sold off to some foreign land. So do you have anyone here who understands you? Well, let me see. My companions are all almost ordinary people. So when it comes to magic users, feelings. I'd say it's love. No, it's nothing like that. Then what's it like? Why must we discuss this? It's just, he's an adult who paid attention to me. And I kind of enjoyed it a little, I guess. I don't want her to be, like, shipped with Guts. That's gross to me. No, they're just friends. I also don't like Sonia knowing this because there is a very good chance that Sonia will try to use that against her, knowing that her and Guts, she'll try to use that knowledge. But I'm like, I don't like the idea of, like, Shirk being, like, attracted to Guts. No, that's weird. Miura, that's weird. No. And I don't know why he keeps bringing it up in this. Like, just let them be friends. Let it be like a brother, father, like sister, daughter relationship. Why you gotta make it weird? So, well, now that we've gazed the seas and broadened our minds, we've got to go back to where those we care about and those who care about us. Yes, we do. I'll get back here, you damned kids. What, kidnapping? Pirates? Those are... Is Casca in there? No, those are kids. Oh, God. Oh, wasting our time. quit your crying. Don't matter how much you struggle. You got nowhere to run. Come on now, it's a lash for you. Stop right there. You will kindly curtail this display of indecency at once. Oh my god, and Isidro's like, oh, I gotta get back here! I mean, I do like the idea of Shirk relating to Guts. I do like that, but not shipping. Sonya looks creepy as F there, right? No! Oh, come on now! No, damn it! I wanted to see what they were gonna do! Mother trucker. You would. You would. You would do that. Damn it. Okay. I want to trust Sonya. I would like to. I would like to give Sonya the benefit of the doubt of her being friends with Shirk. And the concept of her that she was with Griffith from the start just because Shirk was, well, the idea of Sonya being with Griffith from the start because he was different and she was different and she felt this connection to him because he wasn't, like the others. And he's connected to the astral world, so that's why. So Sonya feels connected to the astral world, and so she's kind of gravitating towards people like Shirk and Griffith who are. And I think there's a good possibility of Sonya being a decent character, but there's also an aspect of her that creeps me out. And I'm like, I don't know if I can trust you because she watched the apostles do these horrific acts and didn't even bat an eyelash, whereas Shirk would have been like a little bit apprehensive. So I don't know. It's also interesting that the kids there, the Kushan kids that are being kidnapped, they kind of feel like Casca, but she was born there in Midland, so who knows? The only part of this volume that kind of weirds me out is Ivalera and Sonya trying to insinuate that Shirk has a crush on Guts. That's like creepy because she's a kid and he's an adult. So that part I'm like, Miura, why don't you let her, why aren't they teasing her about liking Isidro? He's her own age. Like do that. And it's not really even needed for the plot. So I'm kind of like, Miura, you don't have to do that. If they're trying to get Sonya to feel like Shirk has a connection to Guts and use it against her, then I get that as a plot element, but you don't have to tease her about having like a crush on an adult. Like that's just kind of, I don't want to say the word that it could be, but it's just weird. I don't like it. But other than that, there's a lot of really good things in this volume. Sonya's story, I feel like I was wondering if Shirk was going to call Sonya out for the hawk being Griffith because she knows that it's Griffith, right? And Griffith's someone she thinks is bad. So I'm going to be curious if Shirk when Shirk finds out who Sonya is referring to as the hawk, if she's going to be like, oh, that's Griffith. That's really bad. He's the Hawk of Darkness. And she's going to be like, no, he's good. And it's going to lead to this whole thing. And Sonya's going to feel betrayed because Shirk's going to be like, yeah, the guy that you liked is actually a really bad person. So I don't know how that's going to go. Of course, everybody wants Charlotte to mate with Griffith. Of course they all do. What else can she do, right? Gross. Anyway, I do love all of the images with Shirk and Sonya. Like all the panels, Miura does a really good job of drawing them. And there's just something, the whole thing with the hanging, and I love Shirk so much. She is maybe my favorite character in this whole manga right now, with the exception of Guts. I do like Guts a lot. And Skull Knight. They're my top 3. But Shirk is she's so pure. And I love that she is naive because she's never been outside the forest. So she is taking in all of the world around her, and she feels bad that she's like, you guys are in this terrible world where there's just death and destruction. Like, this is awful. Like, what do you all do? But she is smart enough to like not be so idealistic that she doesn't see. I like that she still has realism to her, but she also is so positive and upbeat, even when she's like kind of downhearted, here. I don't like that. I'm thinking that's Mule that's there. I don't like that he's here. He has the emblem of the hawk. Even though he may not be doing anything bad, he's following Griffith, so he may unintentionally be doing things that are bad, and he's looking for the witch, so I don't like that at all. Griffith just ordered those guys to go and destroy Flora's home, so they need to stay away from her, right? Nope, I don't like this at all. And that chapter was called, The Kite and the Owl of the Wharf. So all the ship drawings and everything's are gorgeous. They're so beautiful. I love them so much. I do like that Shirk, she can relate to Guts a lot and understand where he's coming from, and she has this sense of justice about her, like with the Kushan men and cremating them. I wonder if they were bait, if they're trying to bait her into arriving there, because she's literally, if anybody can stop Griffith, it's probably Guts with the Berserker armor. And the only thing keeping Guts from going crazy right now is Shirk. Do I think at some point Guts will have to fight in the armor and resist without them there? Yeah, he's going to at some point have to resist and fight without them there. That's going to have to happen. He's going to have to show up and fight them off without having, Shirk there to protect him. Like, that's going to have to happen at some point in the story, I'm sure. But it's not now. He's not ready for that yet. And then Isidro's following in the footsteps of Guts, making these mistakes and not understanding Shirk's whole MO. And now he's trying to go find her and help out. And it's funny because it's kind of the three of them. You have Sonya, Shirk, and Isidro as this sort of like kid version of Griffith, Guts, and Casca in all these different ways. It's so wild, right? Of course, I like that they did a little bit of humor with Guts, like not specifically saying he was in the Band of the Hawk, but hearing Isidro talk about him in such a positive light. And he's like, all these stories are exaggerated. They're not totally true. I loved that. And Guts didn't lash out when he heard Griffith's name. So we're making progress slowly but steadily, right? But yeah, so they're all planning for this big war against the Kushan. And all this all-out war is about to happen. But as we've established in the last volume, it's just all a bunch of folly. It's just ridiculous. And the Kushan, meanwhile, are trying to meet it with their own means. And I mean, both sides are wrong. It's just, I'm with Shirk. I'm like, why is it got to be this way? But yeah, I love that our good friend Miura is having a great time drawing boats and hoes in this chapter, in this volume. The kid is, I'm so fascinated, and I don't know what Miura is planning with this kid. This kid comes out of nowhere after the Skull Knight leaves, comes out of nowhere, and just stands there in the moonlight looking down at Casca and Guts. Now, I want to go back and see that the flame that stopped him. I mean, it would make sense that it was the kid, because it was a small little diminutive figure. But I like that Guts acknowledges that, yeah, Skull Knight was right. And then Shirk is like, if you keep being set in your ways and not making any progress as a person, you're going to be old before your time. That's what she told me, wasn't it? I like that she throws that back at him. But yeah, so Shirk came through. So what we had was, when it showed him, he was looking at them all there. It was Casca holding the kid, and we see all of them there burning. And then he's marching towards them. But then this light, appears, and it is from Casca holding the kid. So yeah, it is Guts with the little ball of flame, like the demon baby. Huh. We're not your enemies, don't be afraid. And it's just a little hand. And it was trying to climb up on him. And then it helped him find the light where Shirk was coming through. So yeah, I guess it could have been the kid. So, okay. All I can think of is the concept that they've talked about the astral world, and they've talked about the idea that you can, once you technically die, you can permeate into other dimensions and other forms. So the only thing I can think of is, did the demon baby, did it kind of separate itself from Griffith and go back to being this kid? I don't know how it escaped being inside of the vessel holding Griffith right now. I don't know how that happened. I'm curious about that. Also, Serpico knows about the Berserkers, and he knows that they're possibly a threat, so he's going to be wary of Guts. I predict that Serpico is going to have to try to fight Guts at some point, which does not bode well. The fact that Serpico's eyes were open most of these chapters is terrifying. How much black ink Miura used for these chapters as well, I don't know, but it's pretty terrifying. But yeah, and then Guts in the Berserker armor, just, I'm so fascinated by the kid. I can't explain the kid. I know you all that are reading the story are like, tee hee 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 hee, but this just makes me want to read the next volume like immediately. It makes me want to sit down and read the next volume immediately, which may happen before I get to the comments, so you all will have to bear with me. But yeah, just the monsters in this volume were amazing, and Guts fighting to try to like be like, oh yeah, I can do this, and the Skull Knight's like, I warned you, but they didn't listen. I'm so curious about the kid. Yeah, it looked at the kid, and then it left. But the kid's eyes weren't like a demon's, so what do we do with that? I want to go back to that kid showing up, because Shirk warning Guts, and then, yeah, Casca taking care of the kid, right? And the idea of, does Casca want to come back or not? I mean, the thing about it is, I do believe that Casca should be able to come back, right? And it's gonna suck. It would suck to be reminded of everything bad that happened to you, right? But her not being able to talk or think clearly or speak, I mean, if you had the choice, if I had the choice, I'd want to come back. And even though, yeah, it's a pain to deal with, it's better than the alternative. So I do love the moment where the kid like is trying to climb up on Guts, and it's trying to get him out of the armor, which is fascinating to me. And Casca tries to pull him off, and he almost lands on the knives, but Guts and Casca keep him from having that happen. It's like the baby's trying to bring them together, which would be exactly what the demon baby would be trying to do, is bring them back together, which is so cute. But yeah, I'm like, where did this baby come from? What is happening? What do we do? How did this baby arrive? Yeah, it just showed up on the beach naked, and that's it. And Casca just sits there watching it. Like, yeah, it's just sitting there in the ocean with its black hair waving everywhere. Where the fudge did it come from, Miura? If it came from the depths of the astral world, how does that work? Was she supposed to have twins? Is this the twin? I love that shot of the eye through the hair, though. But where and how? The boy in the moonlight, which is the baby. I don't know. Miura just brings this up and gives us no explanation. It's fine. You'll figure it out sometime, I guess. Maybe if he decides to go back to it. Who knows? But yeah. So the Skull Knight talks about the Berserker armor, and that he's like, I once wore it, but he's like, it basically killed me, so I'm just giving you a heads up. That's probably going to happen again. And I like the bond that Guts and Shirk has. I think it should be platonic. I don't want there to be any like weirdo crushes with it. Just let them be friends and let that be a storyline. Right? I think that should be fine. I don't think that there has to be, it's just, I don't know. I've seen so many shonen that try to give like, especially like the kid girl characters being like, oh, you're just crushing on the adult guy. I'm like, you don't have to do that. That's so gross. Like, I never thought that around any like older, like dad or older brother figures when I was like that age. So why you gotta make it weird, Miura? So it's just like, this is such a good volume and I love it so much. Everything about it is so good, except for that one little thing. It's like, we're so close to having a perfect volume, Miura. So close. But yeah. Interesting. So yeah, that was a good volume. Sorry about that intro. I was definitely in my feelings. I'm glad we got through an entire volume without nonsense. It's a miracle. So yay. Put that on the map. Volumes without nonsense. 1. We're doing good. We're back on this chart. So I am super excited to see where this goes, to see what we get in volume 29. I can't guarantee I'm going to wait the entire time to read the volume. So if I don't have to wait, then I'll be back soon with more Berserk. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back again next week with volume 29, deluxe edition 10 of Berserk. Bye!